guys, welcome back to the Crafty Dungeon. I wanted to do a quick video just to go over real quick. I had a friend of a friend who has just been inducted into the journally slash junk journally glue book, whatever, Voluptuous Violet Club. And they sat down the other night to do some crafty stuff when she was visiting my friend, and started watching one of my videos, and her comment was, well, how do you even make a journal? And so since most of you already know how to do all of this, I'm sure, and there are people that have led this whole thing well before my time, and that have posted a lot of helpful videos on how to make a journal and different types of journals to make, and sewing your binding and gluing your binding and altering books and all of that stuff. So I have another one too, actually, if I can find it. Some of my stuff I'm reorganized a little bit, and so yeah, I've got other stuff actually. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it all out here so that I can show you the different possibilities. And I actually have one upstairs that I had made for my husband, and it was a little envelope flip book. So if you're just starting out, basically you can make this as easy as you want. So I was just going to go over the options for this person so that they could watch it and get some ideas, and then I really want to try to take the time to actually make one, and I'm sure that I will get there and actually do it on video. I've got a list of stuff that I want to do right now, and we all know how the new year goes. You make resolutions, and of course one of my resolutions is to do some more crafting, to get more crafting done. So I printed off the January Art Journal Challenge from the Joyful Art Journaling on Instagram. So I haven't done one or two yet. I don't know how many of these I'll get to. I'm not going to try to pressure myself to get to everything, because I know it's not going to happen, but I'm going to have to start making some choices of what I want to do and get done. So the first thing I need to get done is my ATC for the swap over on Let's Make a Mess Today. And then I'm also going to try really hard to do the 52-week tag challenge over at Spanky's Craft Corner, because I'd like to do that as well. So I've already got some tag blanks cut. I did these last night with some ugly cardstock that I've had for years and that I don't like. So these are all going to get gessoed. There's not 52 here yet. I got several mats cut out, but I haven't done any more yet. I've got enough to last me a couple months. So I'll be trying to do some of those on video as well. And then I also was planning on entering the 500 subby giveaway over at Spanky's. So I need to make an ATC, a tag, and a postcard for that. So those are my top 3 priorities. I've got dates written in when they're due. I'm all organized. I'm ready to go. So then the other things I'll be trying to do are art journaling in my spare time, which that's kind of where this comes in. And then my planner, which my planner is really hard for me to keep up with, mainly because I run out of a lot of things to write about because my life's just not that exciting. So I can imagine that this probably won't last very long, but I did find some quotes and stickers and stuff, or quotes, that I printed out, and then I used my Xyron machine to do one-sided lamination, the other side adhesive. So I've got some stuff in here, just some quotes to take up some space. Nothing big, but maybe at least I can track crafty stuff, YouTube videos. I don't really track work stuff much in here. I did make a note about the consultant coming at work next week, because that's my I'm the project manager for that project, and we have a consultant coming in to do on-site work. But most of that stuff kind of stays at work in my Outlook, and I've got it all planned there, and I've got all my task lists and stuff set up there, so I don't really need to put it in a planner. So let's get to this. This is for my friend of a friend. So there are tons of different ways you can make a journal. You don't have to go buy anything to make a journal, really, or you don't have to buy much. I mean, if you want color, you're going to need some kind of color. I think this was the first junk journal that I ever made, and I think, well, no, actually, I think my composition book was probably actually made first. And this was when I first started watching Liz Drake, and then she recommended the Tangie Baxter process of going through, you know, decorating the cover. You start out with the composition book, you know, you would do something to the cover, collage, you can paint it, put a big sticker on the front, you can do whatever you want to do, right? And then her process is you go through and you randomly crinkle up pages. So you would take your page and you go like this, crinkle it all up, right? And you would go, because you want to start to make it fat, because it's real skinny, you know, this one's getting fat because I've got paint and pages glued together and, you know, all kinds of stuff in here that's making it fat. So I will try my best to link any of these videos down below in the description that I've kind of mentioned. So that was kind of the first experimentation with that. And obviously I didn't go through here and crinkle all the pages, but some people will go through and ink all the edges, and they'll go through and just randomly start gluing stuff down out of their junk jar or things that they saved, you know, just random, because you go back and you just keep adding to pages. It's not, you don't have to feel pressure to sit down and just do a whole page at once. Like this, I mostly did that. I did most of this in one day, and then I went back and did the quote later. But a lot of times, especially in this other little journal that's not even done, I'll just go slap stuff in there, and then I'll go through it again months later with another stack of stuff, and then just, you know, flip, you know, sometimes I'll put it on empty pages, sometimes I'll put it on pages that I've already started, that kind of thing. But that's one way you can make a journal. So this was a manila envelope, like a 9 by whatever it is. Hold on. I'm going to measure it for you. Most people have easy access to these. You can go to Walmart and buy a package of them. You know, the ugly yellow envelopes. 9 by 14, 9 by 11, something. Oh, or 12. 12. I'm so off. So they're basically 9 by 12 manila clasp envelopes, okay? You can buy them in packages. They're not that expensive. So you can make journals out of these. And I think the first, you know, real exposure I had to that was between Liz Drake and then Stacy Evans over at Pink Poodle Crafts. Over a year, maybe a year or two ago. One of hers stands out that she made out of an envelope that was very cool. And that kind of inspired me to try to do that. See, I tried to be prepared and have everything all set up everywhere, like stacked up, and then here I am knocking stuff over like a bowl in a china cabinet, and not prepared at all. So this started out as an envelope. So I gessoed it, did some stenciling, stamping, painting on the outside. This one I actually made, scored a spine into it. And the method I used with this one is that this is all different size crap, junk, okay? So it was bits and pieces of junk mail, of scrap paper. Here's an envelope from like a Camel cigarette envelope that I got in the mail, which the envelopes are gorgeous. So I found a cool image that I liked and glued it on. But I've got a Walgreens bag in here, and some of this was very early for me. So Some of this was even just writing. Like, obviously, I should have gessoed over this before I tried to write on it because there's text on it. But I did, like, some word stenciling here. It's better to be weird than to be ordinary. Ordinary is boring. And then, you know, okay. So, anyway. Some of these pages I practiced drawing and painting on. That was a drawing I did and painted with watercolor. Practicing with some watercolor here. I had done some drawings here that were terrible, so I've started gessoing over them. This was just a scrap piece of paper, right? Here's the other end of that envelope. Practicing, you know, white gel pen on black. Just little things like that. So yeah, this book's not full. I've done some paint off in here. I've done some scribbling in here. This was like a jelly print. Anyway, there's different sizes of paper in here. More junk mail, scrap type stuff. Okay, so I stapled these. Obviously, this one's coming out. But what I did with this one, and I don't care, because it's a junk journal. And more, I love this. More jelly print paper. Envelope. So these, I stapled these signatures is what I had done. And then I think I glued these in is what I did. So, like, that's why the backs of these aren't coming out. So if you fold this to allow for a spine, and you actually, you know, score the spine in. Scoring just means you use something like a bone folder or something like that to put kind of a permanent indentation. You know, you would, that way it stays intact, right? It doesn't just fold over. So what you do here is, I think I had a couple, this may just be one big signature, I don't remember. So basically, I think Liz did one this way, and the way she did it is she just put a bunch of Aleene's tacky glue. You can use any, like a PVA glue. Elmer's probably wouldn't hold, I don't think. You're going to have the ribbon or the string or the fibers helping you pull the signatures against the glue. And then you basically let it sit and dry for a day or two before you start messing with it a lot. But what you do is you take your signature, and a signature is a stack of papers. So let's say you take 5 sheets of copy paper and fold them all in half, and then you put them inside of each other. So that way it makes a little booklet. That's a signature. And so you can do that with you can mix and match different sizes, anything, and then you can either sew them together, which sounds easier than it is. You can basically just poke holes in your signatures, and I will go into more detail with that, but I really just kind of wanted to go through the basics and give this person that requested this some ideas. And I know I'm all over the place. I need to learn to be a better teacher if I'm going to do any process videos, because this is, I'm squirreling everywhere. So, like, this piece of fiber didn't get tied very tight. And since the staples are coming out, wherever this was glued, which I'm guessing is right here, it's glued down in there. So this is stuck on. This is not going anywhere, right? But these pages towards the middle of the signature where the staples have come out, they are like, because this is what's glued. This is where the glue is stuck. And since the staples have come out, obviously between here and here, this stuff is coming. So that makes sense, right? Okay, maybe not. So that's one method where you can you just dump a bunch of glue in the spine. I've seen people do that with book covers too. They will, you know, cut the pages out of the book, basically. There's a specific kind of binding that you can do that with. So you find an old book, you know, thrift store, garage sale, whatever, and you can basically just cut all the innards out and save them, because you'll want to use the innards later for other things. But you can take that nice hardbound book cover, And you can do the same thing. It's already got a spine there, so you can just basically fill your little canal full of glue, and then depending on how many signatures you can fit in there, you basically would just set them straight up in there, and you want to have like a ribbon or some good like you can use anything, ribbon, yarn, fiber, as long as you can pull it tight and knot it without it breaking. And so you would basically pull and tie a knot so that you're pulling that signature down into the glue, and it's gonna stay there and cure that way. I have a book cover around here somewhere because I was working on altering the book cover to make a journal for something else, and I moved it, of course. No surprise, right? I couldn't tell you what I did with it now. It doesn't look like that it's up here with all my other books that I have in line to alter. So I'm not, oh, I know where it's at. I moved it into this here drawer over here. I don't remember specifically which drawer. Oh, maybe. I'm a hot mess, aren't I? Oh, I forgot to do something. Painty papes. Okay. So, yeah. Pardon the disorganization. I will try to make one like that sooner than later, just so that you can see how it's done. This is actually another example of an envelope journal. So you just saw me make this last month. I did not score a spine into this, so you see how it's still curved. I did not sew my signatures in. I made 3 different signatures. So this thicker paper was kind of my signature cover. Here's the end. So see how this was not, so this is a full signature. I have one back here that's still empty. I didn't do anything with this one. It's basically, I think, 5 or 6 sheets of paper folded in half, and then I used a piece of cardstock as my signature cover. So you can see the difference between the one that has nothing in it, right? And then we've got 2 here that are completely full of stuff. These are literally, so the signatures are stapled together. I can tell you that it will not, I'm going to have to go in and reinforce it. So I'm either going to have to take these out and sew them together with some good, you know, bookbinding thread, or even some, if you have a big enough needle, you can do it with yarn, whatever. But these staples are going to come out because these are so fat. So, but I basically stapled these together and then just tied them in with different ribbon. So they will slide right out of the ribbon, and that is, it's kind of a hybrid flow style journal. And flow means, typically the idea of a flow journal is you have a bunch of bits and pieces, different sized papers, envelopes, things like that. And you can put stuff in it. You can make pockets and tags and things like that. But it's things for people to reuse. So you're sending them a journal that they can basically pull a piece of paper right out of and use in their own projects. So, so this is kind of a hybrid flow because my signatures are stapled together, and that wouldn't be a true flow because you can't just go in and slide a piece of paper out, right? But the idea of slipping them in under a ribbon or some kind of a, you know, something that you can tie like that is kind of a flow style. You could call it a traveler's notebook style. They would just slide in and out. That's another way you could do it. So another envelope journal, and none of them at this point I've done any like clasps or closures on. Haven't really got to that level yet, just making. I already showed you my my composition notebook. This was a notebook that was already bound. It was just like a blank notebook of lined paper, you know, that you get from a, you know, work convention or anywhere. Okay, you can get these anywhere. I took this and I created this for my husband and I. This was kind of to document our dating and engagement and that kind of thing. So I basically just, you know, decoupage the cover, and of course it's getting super fat. If I keep putting stuff in it, which I haven't put stuff in it in a long time because now everything just kind of goes into all of my other journals, but this binding probably wouldn't last very long. It's not something that you'd want to get super fat, but the pages are already there. You can just go right over them and glue more paper down. You can paint on them. All kinds of stuff that you can do. So it's just like, it's the same concept, you know, except for this is a bound book. So it'd be like the same thing you would do with a composition book, except for it's already got wire binding on it. So that's that one. Then another way you can do it is you can, and here's another example of that as well. This was like a sketchbook that I picked up at Walmart. So I basically decorated the cover. This was supposed to be more of an art journal and less of a book that would get big. So, you know, I've practiced coloring, practiced drawing. I've got some, that's not good. Yeah, this was nail polish. Apparently it sticks. So this was just a bunch of goofing around. This was paint. I love this, by the way. More paint, a little bit of collage, more paint. Yeah, so this was just to be more, I love this too, by the way. This was just, the idea behind this was just, it was going to be flat. There's not going to be a lot of three-dimensional stuff in here. So I haven't done a lot in here. It's kind of just another, yeah. Yeah, terrible drawing, but playing with alcohol markers and stuff back here. So just another place to do stuff. Okay, so that's a book that's already pre-bound. Then the other journals that I've made have been out of like I think this was a Ritz Crackers box. And I took this and cut it down, cut all the flaps off. There was one side of the box. Collaged a cover, and it's got our fibers again, and this is probably the same way. I think I stapled my signatures together. This one is sewn. This signature is sewn, and I think I intended to sew these in the book, and then I kind of screwed up with that because I had, yeah, this one's sewn. You can see I've got the string here. So this whole signature is sewn. I believe that these other ones may not be. So anyway, and I kind of screwed up with this one because I used all different sizes of paper, and then I think I figured out after I sewed the signature itself, but then I should have sewn it into the book, punched the holes and sewn it into the spine of the book. And that's something I need to get better at doing. But this is another whole bunch of different sizes of paper, all kind of mixed in here, and just different. Some of it's got some pictures and some journaling. Some of it's just playing around. There's things like envelopes in here that you basically just kind of split open at the sides and you flatten them out and put them in your signature. All kinds of, yeah, there's quite a bit of journaling in this one, it looks like. Some flips, some pockets, some things like that. Pockets coming undone. So, yeah. That's another option. This is like some of my daughter's concert programs. Something that she made or did at school about me. I basically washi taped that stuff in so that I can keep it. It's all in a book. She made me this for Mother's Day. I did some journaling about it. Playing with my watercolors. Journaling. And yeah, more journaling. All kinds of stuff in here. More playing with color. Yeah, so there's all kinds of stuff in here as well. And like I said, they're all different size pages, scraps, all kinds of stuff. So that's kind of what I've done in here. This was my husband's attempt. It was so sweet to buy me deli sheets because I could never find them at Sam's, okay? So he comes home with all, like, 4 packages of these waxed, you know, they're like deli sheets, but they're red and white checkered. And I'm like, well, what the heck am I going to do with this? Because now they're all red and white checkered. So it works just fine if you're just painting on one side of it. But unless you paint the other side too, then you're going to have the red and white checker showing through. So it was funny. I got to give him props for for trying to pick out something for me. But yeah, there's just some collage in here. A failed card that I had cut out of the Cricut machine. Yeah, this is like half of an envelope right here that I basically cut down and used as a pocket. So yeah, all kinds of stuff in this one. And so yeah, these are tie. I love that too. Yeah. I think that, yeah, this one looks like this one's stapled. So yeah, they were not all sewn. So yeah, this one's pretty loose, as you can see. It's not all, because it's the fiber. I tied this in with some fiber that just didn't stay tight. So, but it's all in the book. This is just I was going to put this in here at some point. I tried to do some watercolor bubbly flower things. I think Marta over at Maramy Small Art had done a video and hers turned out awesome. Mine turned out stupid. So it's just going to go in there. Here's another example of a book. This was made out of a Reese's Peanut Butter Bunny box that my kid had gotten, one of my kids had gotten at Easter. I made this book for my mother-in-law for Mother's Day last year. And so yeah, I took a box and painted, did some texture paste and stuff on the outside, and I used the window that was already there where the Reese's Peanut Butter Bunny was, and made that, turned that into a shaker. So there's all kinds of stuff in here, and then the bird cage in front of that. But yeah, anyway, shaker. But you know, in here, just a different style, but you know, kind of the same concept. I coffee dyed a lot of paper, got out a lot of my vintage collections. This was, there was a lot of quotes and just some vintage stock art in here, and I left places in here for her to write if she wanted to. And then there were some actual pictures of the family and everything too. So those are some, just a quick, well, quick, it's probably been an hour, but it's supposed to be a quick overview of the different types of journals that you can make. You don't need to go out and buy a lot of supplies to do it. You can start with very little, and you know, you can even just get a few inexpensive things just to add color. Crayola makes a good set of oil pastels. If you just want to throw color on a page, you can get $5 watercolors from Michael's. I've used that as a lot of backgrounds. You know, if you have the money and you want to go out and buy some more stuff, you know, just kind of look around and do some, watch some YouTube videos and kind of see what other people use as color. A lot of people use like ink, like stamp ink, and they will just ink over their pages. And if you've ever done scrapbooking previously and you have a lot of leftover paper that's gross and that you don't really like it, that's a good option. I use that for my jelly printing, which if you don't know what that is, that's like a jelly plate is a flexible plate that you put paint on, and then you basically like roll it out with a brayer, and then you slap a piece of paper on it, and then you basically pull the color off. So yes, I know this looks disgusting. I promise that I clean it, and it looks like that anyway, but my paint has obviously left a residue on it. But this is a jelly plate. They are fun. I can't wait to do some more jelly prints, but I use a lot of old scrapbook paper that I don't like, and I will just jelly print right over it. So we'll do some jelly printing sometime as well. That's a good way to make backgrounds for journals, for journal pages too. But So anyway, I just kind of wanted to do this for the friend of my friend who requested it. That way she can maybe get some ideas and start from there. And I know that she's kind of digging the whole junk journal thing, so I hope that she's able to get into it and do some experimenting, and I hope you're able to get into that and find what you like and what's good for you. So that's all for this video. I may be posting some others this week as well, but I'm not sure yet. I got to come down here tonight. So I'm happy that I got to spend some time down here in the craft dungeon. So anyway, thanks for watching, and please hit like or leave me a comment as well to let me know that you stopped by. I like hearing from everybody. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so, and come hang out with me again sometime, and we'll do some fun stuff. So have a good night. Thanks.